morning. We'll call the November 19th, 2025 DRC meeting to order. We'll start with roll call. Community Development is present. Police Department.
Jason Workman.
All right. Public Works.
Dale Smith.
Fire.
Jeremy Holderfield.
And Building.
John Hanson.
All right. First item on the agenda is Reyes Fitness Professionals 12Ks of Christmas. And Lexi from Recreation is here.
Okay, so Reyes Fitness Professionals is looking to do a 12Ks of Christmas at Northwest Recreation on Saturday, December 20th from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. It is a returning event. They did this 12K last year, and it's an organized fitness run/walk event with a total of a 12K distance that can be ran independently or as a group. There'll be about 50 people. Their setup includes a 10 by 10 tent, course signage, and water stations throughout the course. No alcohol. They won't be hiring a private security company. Parking will be located gates 1 through 4 at Northwest, and their course runs through the complex trail and stays on all the sidewalks.
All right. Any questions for Lexi? All right. Hearing none. Community Development has nothing further. Police.
Nothing.
Public Works.
No comments.
Fire.
No comments, thank you.
Building.
I don't have anything. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Lexi.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Lester Road Subdivision Rezoning. First submittal, Amir Hamza's project manager.
Good morning, everyone. So this is a proposal to rezone the 550 Lester Road property from transitional to RSF-1B, and then in the future they're proposing seven single-family lots. The future land use will still stay the same as the residential low suburban. The applicant is in attendance today, along with staff for further comments and questions.
Any questions for Amir? Does the applicant have a presentation? No. Or any questions or anything? Okay. All right. Just one comment. Was a community meeting held on this one?
We held a community meeting back in May, I believe, when we submitted that documentation. We had to get the formal school concurrency, or capacity.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Community Development has nothing further. Police.
Nothing.
All right. Public Works.
No comments.
Fire.
No comments, thank you.
Building.
I don't have anything. Thanks.
Let's see. All right. Next item is Ondich North Plan Development Agreement. Gene Sanchez is project manager. I'll be pinch hitting on this one this morning for. This is a plan development agreement for property that is located on the north side of Ondich Road. This was annexed into the city by the city council, I believe, back in the summer. It's a 196-acre development. They're going to develop it in a cluster-style development, and this agreement is a required element of the plan development ordinance, and planning staff had no comments on it. I don't know if anybody else from DRC had any questions or comments on this. And this agreement would have to be approved by the city council along with the PD rezoning, I believe, which is scheduled to go forward in December 17th to city council.
Just looking real quick, Bobby. This is maximum is 1 unit per acre.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. In that area of the city, that's the maximum density you can do is 1 unit an acre.
Thanks.
All right. Community Development has nothing further. Police.
I got nothing.
Public Works.
No comments.
Fire.
No comments, thank you.
Building.
Nothing further. Thanks.
All right. And I don't know, was the applicant in attendance for that one? I forgot. Okay. Next one is Saddlebrook Meadows Subdivision Major Development Plan. First submittal. I'm the project manager on this one. The applicant is here and they received their comments. This is a 55 lot subdivision located just south of the Parkview Preserve subdivision on Golden Gem Road, on the east side of Golden Gem Road. It's in the Kelly Park form-based code area. The property, I believe, it's been in the city for a while, but a future land use designation of mixed use was given to it about a year or two ago now, I believe. And now we're at the rezoning major development plan stage. Planning had some comments, I believe, on this one. I think Public Works did as well. I don't know if Transportation put in their comments yet. I saw some emails going back and forth on that. But Jeff Summit, the engineer of record, is here. Do you have any questions for DRC?
Yeah, just
okay.
mostly Dale's comments, but whatever. Start with planning, Bobby. Just we talked about the community meeting. That's fine. The one question I had in regards to comment 4, where it talks about portions of lot 152 and 53 going into the existing power easement. So the way those lots are set up, yes, that power easement does clip the lots, but the buildable area inside the lots and the setbacks is outside the limits of the easement. I've sent these plans over to Duke Energy. We are
Okay.
working on a right-of-way utilization agreement for that, which will include your open space that you asked for additionally.
All right.
As far as the criteria for the right-of-way utilization agreement, we're meeting all the criteria for their utilization agreement. However, I still have to go through that process. So
Okay.
we're working on that. I don't want to change that. I don't want to remove them wholly because of the fact that I'm trying to leave enough of a buffer, especially with lot 1 and lot 55 adjacent to Golden Gym Road, because we know the issues with Golden Gym Road that's been going on for the last, feels like 15 years of my existence. And so that's kind of how we got to the layout.
Okay. Is the Duke okay with portions of those lots?
Their
Being
preliminary comments did not ask us to remove it. Their preliminary comments really revolved around making sure that our roadway is at grade access so that they can still get into the easement for the maintenance. And they didn't comment on the lot specifically, other than, landscaping, things like that, fencing and stuff like that would be prohibited within the limits of the easement.
Okay, and there'd be no structures within the easement.
No,
Okay.
right, and those are, like I said, the encroachments are well outside the setbacks for the lots in question.
Okay.
I see a follow-up comment on that. Go ahead. No,
I don't have any comments.
Okay, all right. As far as the right-of-way dedication on Golden Gym Road, so we matched up with what was done with Parkview Preserve. So there was a 15-foot dedication, and what we've been running with on that east side of Golden Gym Road has been 15 feet, and what we've been running with on the west side has been 10. So we've matched up to that. I do have to get an e-permit through the county. I haven't submitted for that yet. But do you need a letter from Orange County before we can move that forward, or are you going to be? Is that enough of an explanation?
If you have like an email or something from the county that says they're okay with it,
Okay.
That would be
I'll
sufficient.
get with Josh and just make sure it's
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Public services real quick. So Dale, you got a lot of comments here in regards to just design for the stormwater ponds and everything like that. Do you want that now?
No, when you do your CSP, I
Okay.
was just sort of letting you know what
Same
I'd
thing
be
with
looking
same
for.
thing with the water calcs and the fire calcs, right?
Right.
I think the biggest comment I got from you that's got me kind of scratching my head is the secondary emergency access comment, number 10.
The secondary access.
Yeah, because unfortunately, the way it's going to work with Duke is based on my frontage, I can't get to access points from the county on this.
You can't come off of your northerly road where the curve is and see where your walk is. Just
Yeah,
as
to try to do it as a stabilized.
secondary emergency access,
My-
something that his fire trucks can.
The only issue I'm going to have with that is I got to get that approved by Duke, and there's a pole that's real close to there, and I just don't know if they're going to go for that or not.
Well, when you submit your plans, you'll show us where the poles are too.
No, they're in there. I think it's just turned off on this page
Oh,
we're looking
okay.
at. They're there.
I
The
mean,
poles are on the survey.
What is your plan for secondary access if you can't get it there?
I don't have with regard. This one's so small, I didn't see a need for it.
Are you over the amount of houses that are required?
Man, you're gonna ask me that question, and I can't remember what the number is these days. I think it's 50. We are over 50, I believe.
Yeah, so you are required.
So can we go back to that real quick, Bobby? Really, you're gonna throw the Book of Armaments at me in the meeting? Let's just go back to that. So we're looking to we're working. There you go, right there at 15 and 16. So we're working with back to the utilities issue, and this goes back to your question about connecting to that lift station that would be to the north. So would it be okay if we came through that open space tract in Parkview Preserve as an emergency access?
Where's that at? Can you show me
It's that track.
that track that I was asking about right there? That one?
It's that.
Because I do have 20 feet between 15 and 16, so I would have your 20-foot access. I could stabilize that because it's outside the easement, and we're working on an agreement with JTD with the HOA to the south for the utility easement for the sewer to go through.
So when you say you would stabilize it, that just putting like a gate, emergency gate, just to
I wouldn't
protect
even
it?
need, no, I wouldn't even put a gate
Just
up
be an
there.
access
Yeah.
between the two subdivisions?
I wouldn't even put a gate up there. Just leave it
And you
open
mean
space and just
stabilized, you're
stabilize it.
talking paved, correct?
I'm sorry?
You're talking paved?
No, just stabilized.
But stabilized for me is like, that's the big problem we've been dealing with in the city that I'm trying to get away from. Stabilized with grass driveways and fire trucks aren't always or grass roadways aren't always the best way for us to get trucks off. I keep my fire trucks off the grass as much as possible, and then we go non-stable. You consider stabilized, I consider non-stabilized. Um, the problem I have with that is like we have to know where they're at in the future, and like a lot of those, if you look across the area, they've grown up. No one knows where they're at. No one, the visibility of them's a problem. So
Well,
I'm asking for a paved surface of some sort.
yeah, but even black asphalt at night is not going to be easy for your guys to see in trucks. I mean, what
I
I've
wouldn't have
normally
I
done in the
still wouldn't have an
past.
issue driving a fire truck on that. Though.
Jeff,
Yes, sir.
have you seen those? It's like a polyethylene geogrid block,
Yeah, like the grass paved stuff.
and then you
Yeah,
plant your
I
grass
mean,
on
we
top
fill
of
that. You can fill that with rock. Grass will grow through it. I mean, it will, but it is a rigid surface from that
it. And
perspective.
that way they could have the grass, and it should
Yeah, I
support
mean,
your fire truck.
potentially that'll support it, and that's fine. It's just I'm trying my best to keep these things paved as possible, and looking at it from not only my perspective of now, of 10 years from now, in the future, of firemen understanding where that's at and where the accessibility is, and the more that we have across this town, the city that we're from previous, that we have grass roadways that are used,
Sure.
that have no idea what they are, and they don't really serve a purpose for us at this point. So I'm trying to get these things paved as much as possible to keep our trucks understanding what they are. That's why I asked if it was paved and you put an emergency gate, just a padlock. I'm not asking for electric. I'm not asking anything. I'm asking for a Knox pad. That would do us a favor, but
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to smirk, but I'm going back to about 8 years ago when I did Parkview Preserve, and the whole reason we have that track C in there was we were trying to do that roadway connection to this property in anticipation of that development for the interconnectivity, and I was shot down on that issue, and I'm just like,
I wish I would have been able to help you with that, but I was.
that got torpedoed. So I was like, God, I had it all set up, and it just train wrecked on me.
Jeff, now, not to be, what is the exact definition of a stabilized surface? Because that's what's written in the code, stabilized surface.
The code talks about access points.
Well, it's got to. I mean, the fire code. Unfortunately, the beauty of the fire marshal is he can do what he wants, right? That's the
Yeah,
kind of
but
the
I'm not
beauty
trying
of what the
to
fire code says.
I'm not trying to overstep what my position is and abuse it by no means. It's just I'm looking for what's best for safety purposes for the fire department and the citizens. And ultimately, that comes down to a stabilized surface that I consider paved. That way, we're not putting a fire truck in any kind of issue getting it stuck. Because I mean, if we get a fire truck stuck or something like that happens, we're talking having a fire truck out of service on
you
that's
go
out
back
of
to that
town for
plan?
hours upon getting it out. So it's
Okay,
putting everything at risk.
I got
It's a big problem.
an idea. I think I might be able to sell to Duke. So yeah, can you go to the entrance there? Yeah, down like 6 pages, 6 or 7. There you go. And then I want to see Golden Gym Road. It's on the far left side of this page. So where I've got that sidewalk coming across the easement,
What page is that on, Bobby?
Bobby's got it up on the screen now. So
Yeah, I see it. I'm with you. Okay.
So what if I mean, we made it a little artsy fartsy because of the planning thing, but what if I straightened that out and widened it out to 17 feet as a sidewalk? Pour it 6 inches, reinforce it. There's a 12-inch sidewalk that it connects to. That's part of the bike trail system for the entire form-based code area. The only caveat to this is I'm not going to be able to pave it to the edge of pavement of Golden Gym Road because the county's not going to let me do that.
Yeah.
But what I could do is I could stabilize that portion, reinforce it. We could still put down 12 inches of stabilization. I could probably still bury some base. I don't know if I'll ever get anything to grow on it if I do that.
Yeah,
But that would get you a drivable access out to the road from there.
I mean, how far is the stabilized portion you're talking about that's not sidewalk or whatever? What's the distance of that?
What, right out there in the right of way? It's probably 12 to 15 feet, just eyeballing it.
And then that turns into who's keeping up with that? Who's
Well, but the problem with Golden Gym Road is this whole issue of, the county ownership versus the city ownership, right? We all saw the ILA got shot down in May at city council. And even if the ILA had been approved, the city was only taken up to, what was it? Thank you, Capitol Reef. I couldn't think of it, which is the northern entrance on Parkview Preserve. So this is still always going to be county right of way. Now, I might be able to get them to agree to some kind of modified drive out turnout
Yeah,
there.
I like. I mean, I'm good with. I like the idea of it. But my
But
problem is that area that if we're depending on someone to take care of it and the overgrown, well,
Well, but that's in the county right of way.
yeah,
The stabilized portion we're talking about would just be limited to the right of way. So it wouldn't be on the private property. It would be up to Orange County, and it would give the city the ability to go after Orange County and throw rocks at them, which everybody seems to like to do these days.
yeah.
Sidewalk in.
All right, let me get back with you on it.
Okay.
I put some thoughts on it. But thank you for the idea. Let's try to work with me.
I think that's it. I think that was all the big items. We'll deal with the utilities at CSP. Thank
All
you.
right. With that, community development has nothing further. Police.
No comment.
All right. Public Works,
No other comments.
Fire,
No other comments. Thank you.
and Building.
Not really, thanks.
All right. Thank you. Next item is Floridian Town Center Hotel Major Development Plan second submittal. The applicant has requested that this be continued to the December 3rd meeting. There's an issue with the development agreement that only allows 120 room hotel. They're proposing 138 rooms, so they're trying to work out that in the meantime. Next item on the agenda is Lisa Lane subdivision. Amir, project manager.
So this is a subdivision that it consists of 11 single-family lots. It's on the east side of town. The future land use is residential medium-low, and zoning is a residential two-family. Staff and applicant are available for further questions and comments.
All right, is the applicant in attendance?
Josh Enot, Kimley Horn, 200 South Orange Avenue, Orlando, Florida. I think from the engineering side, all of your comments make sense to me. I think we need to dive into the stormwater a little bit more and get some clarity on that. So I think once we update our plan, we'll probably just set up a meeting to go over a couple of these, as long as that's good with you, Dale.
Yeah, what I'd like to do is I've walked the site. I'd like for you to walk the site with me.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. So yeah, we can schedule that. Next, I'd say this is the biggest item is going to be the one for planning or Amir on the removal of the cul-de-sac. This plan, it's only 3 acres, only 11 single family houses. It's going to be hard to have a looped road on a property this small. I know in previous conversations on other projects, earlier this week, basically cul-de-sacs, and the result of that was that cul-de-sacs aren't prohibited, but only in instances where they're unavoidable. I'd say that this lot, with how small it is and how few lots that we have, it would be unavoidable. Would that be is that argument good enough to allow the cul-de-sac in this instance?
How is it unavoidable?
Because for this one, we're connecting to a dead end road. So the road already dead ends. There's no cul-de-sac. There's no nothing. So if anything, we're providing a better fire turnaround for that. And then unavoidable, the low part of our site is where our stormwater pond is. So to loop this, we'd have to go through our pond. And I know the city doesn't allow exfiltration trenches or anything like that in the right of way. And then where our cul-de-sac is now, that's where the site goes up about 5 to 10 feet. So we can't put a pond down where that cul-de-sac currently is. So it's unavoidable in the sense that in order to make the site developable, we need the stormwater pond where the stormwater pond is, and to meet the tree canopy coverage, where we're saving up one of the big trees right next to our stormwater pond, which is why we have that space there. So it's unavoidable in the sense that we won't be able to develop this site other than probably the 4 lots.
Let us take a look at it and we'll get back to you.
Okay. And that's it for my questions.
Any questions for the applicant? All right. Community development has nothing further. We'll look into the cul-de-sac issue a little bit and determine whether or not it's unavoidable due to environmental constraints that you were referencing. Police,
No comment.
public works,
No comment.
fire,
No comments. Thank you.
building.
Nothing, thanks.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Discussion. There will be no meeting next week as we have no items scheduled, and it's the day before Thanksgiving, so there'll probably be some GRC members that won't be here, but we will be back on the 3rd of December. Any other items for discussion? All right, we're adjourned.